Sorry. So she is in the lunchroom with her new best friends that she just made about a couple scenes earlier, and that she gets introduced to the Cullens, who all have annoyingly unique names, who dress in, annoyingly unique ways. Their hair is annoying. It's just flamboyant. They're not interesting. They're not attractive either. I don't find them mysterious. Again, it's Stephenie Meyer's glorified fan fiction. That's what this is. That's how the book reads. That's how the movie is. It's her publisher accepted glorified fan fiction and printed it and just sort of ran with it. But the Cullens, she discovers whatever. She gets introduced to them, and Edward Cullen is in her biology class as her partner. And the first time she really interacts with him, the first time Bella interacts with Edward is in biology class, and he immediately sort of gets this disgusted look on his face and sort of, covers his mouth or his nose, because she gets the impression that she smells bad. You later find out that she smells good. No, okay, Edward. Edward has a way with the ladies, apparently. Got a real ladies' man here. But, yeah, so she's introduced to Edward first, personally, like that. And it's really, really rude. I really wish I knew how to embed, like, video clips, or I would actually show you the clip. But, there's a local restaurant around here, Ward's. I had the same look that Edward had on his face the last time I ate at Ward's. If you've ever been, I've never actually physically been to one because the thought of it makes me violently ill. But if you've ever been to a Long John Silver's, I could imagine that the look would be comparable. Just a look of disgustion. Disgustion. That's not a word. Just a look of disgust. That's the look on his face. So she sits down next to him. She sort of, is making eyes at him like, wow, you're being so rude to me. Again, we don't really care. This isn't acting. None of the people in this film can act competently at all. And she talks with Edward about, like, cellular division, mitosis. And again, this is the isolated case of Bella's perceived intelligence. So they're taking a look at maybe onion slides. Yeah, onion slides, which I've actually done the same exact experiment before. And they're taking a look at the slides, and you have to differentiate between, what stage is this? Is this anaphase, telophase, metaphase, whatever phase it is, whatever stage of division, you have to identify it. And in my experiences with cellular division, with mitosis, this is one of the most difficult things that you can... It's very difficult for me. It was difficult for me to do. I had to open the book. My partner and I, all of us, we had to open the books and actually, like, take a look at a picture of what it was, because it's, for students like us, it's not an exact science. If I was a biologist, maybe I would be able to realize certain factors in the pictures and in the slides, but for students like us, for lay people like us, it wasn't very easy for us to differentiate between the stages of division. Bella takes maybe like a 2-second look at the first slide and proclaims it to be, it doesn't really matter, anaphase. The stage doesn't matter. Edward verifies it, in half the time that she did it. I don't even think his eye makes contact with the microscope. He just sort of gazes down upon it and just knows. And the scene plays out where they just go back and forth over what the stage is, and do I trust you that you're telling me the right phase, blah, 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 blah. No one cares. And this is the only isolated scene that you get the impression that maybe Bella knows anything about anything. In the rest of the film, Bella is literally dumber than a bag of bags, so this is completely isolated. Oh, okay, so whatever. So movie goes on. Edward disappears from school for a few days. Bella gets concerned. Whatever. And he comes back to school. His eyes are a different color. Whatever, they talk. Edward's being an ass and being incredibly rude to her. Again, he certainly has a way with the ladies. And something happens. She almost gets hit by, this is a few days later. I'm probably skipping a lot of things, but again, I'm going to throw myself upon the mercy of the community because there's not really a story to this movie at all. I know I'm giving a really drawn-out description of what happens in this movie, but there's no real story. It's just sort of a series of loosely connected events. So I really, the sequence of events doesn't matter. So she almost gets hit by a van in the school parking lot, and if you've ever been in a high school parking lot, they're very risky. They're danger zones. Everyone seems to have had, at least locally, the high school I went to, we had a lot of crazy parking lot stories. And somehow the student that's driving this van is, originally so far away from Bella, like so far in the distance, and he hits like a patch of ice, and his car just homes in exactly where she is, and just swerves to smash her. And you're cheering because you think you're about to be delivered from Bella Swan. But of course, Edward fucking saves the day because that's who he is. He's the hero, don't you know? He's the hero of this story. And he holds his arm out, and the car sort of dents around where his arm was, and he saves her life. Yeah, okay, so whatever. So they go to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. You're introduced to Freddy, the Cullen dad. He looks like Freddy from Scooby-Doo. Who, of course, says Bella's fine, you're lucky, blah, 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 blah. Nothing interesting here, Move on. She somehow corners Edward and, asks him about what happened. He's an ass again and says, you're never going to find out, you're never going to know the truth, just accept it and move on, blah, blah, blah. This is like 30 or 40 minutes into the film. And every 15 minutes, maybe every 15 or 20 minutes, the filmmakers add this scene of what appears to be the Black Eyed Peas in their vampire form, committing various murders and crimes. And the Black Eyed Peas, you never actually see the violence because this is a movie made for women. I guess you're not supposed to see them, ripping his throat out or something. Which I would actually be kind of curious to see how you would do that in a Twilight movie. Not that I'm sort of advocating for gore and violence and all that, but I think it would have been interesting. Because the police, you learn through Bella's father that the police think that these are animal attacks. Well, if vampires, have pointy teeth, what are they doing with that teeth to make the police suspicious of animals and bears? So I would have at least been interested to hear of, like in description, what happened to the bodies. But that never happens. So that's apparently they're like the antagonists of this film or something. I don't really know. It's not really important. But, every now and then you'll see a Black Eyed Peas murder scene. And it's not particularly interesting. The CGI isn't good at all in this movie. Again, nothing to see here. Move on. So about an hour into the movie, we're only halfway through this film. Bella does something and... fuck. Yeah, she goes to like this bookstore and gets this book on Native American myths. She's with her friends buying dresses, and she leaves her friends and goes and gets a book. So she leaves the store, is walking around alleys. Again, very smart lady. She's very intelligent, let me tell you, walking around a strange city at night in between alleys and buildings. Who knows what could happen to you? But, so she almost gets like raped and murdered by this gang, and Edward saves the day because he's like her stalker protector or something. So yay for Edward. Yay again, saving the day. So they go and nothing happens. So she goes home and literally fucking goes on Google and types in the keywords, like, the book that she just bothered buying. She literally types in like keywords that are relevant to the book she bought and just Googles them for free. Just gets the information for free. Screenwriters, do you think we're fucking stupid? This stupid device to get Bella isolated from her friends in an unknown location to raise suspense and to make us think like the protagonist is in danger. I mean, this fails miserably as a device because you're never convinced that Bella's in any danger because the dumb bitch just won't die. I mean, I've seen a bunch of these movies. The stupid bitch just won't die. She doesn't know what's good for her. She does a bunch of stupid shit in these movies and she never dies. And her love won't let her die. Whatever. But yeah, this device by the filmmakers doesn't work at all. And it's like they think we're stupid. She literally goes home and Googles the information for free. Like, why the fuck didn't you just stay home and stay safe? Whatever. Fuck you guys filmmakers. We're not retarded. We're not, surely people know that these things are going on in this film. Like, surely people have pointed these things out. So I know I'm not breaking new ground here, but, Jesus, this movie's fucking stupid. So she's Googling all this bullshit, and she comes to the conclusion that Edward is a vampire. It beats the hell out of me. Somehow she does. And she goes to school. Edward and her just walk off into the woods alone. Alone with a vampire. People who have, fictional beings who have historically murdered and fed on the life force of humans. This is a person you need to walk off alone in the woods with. Who's been a complete ass to Bella, been a complete ass to Bella the whole movie. She just walks off with him in the woods. And, like, this is the teaser trailer scene. Oh my god, one of the worst scenes you're ever going to see in this movie. Say it. What am I? Say it out loud. You're a vampire. Are you afraid? No. Jesus. Who fucking wrote this movie? Jesus Christ. Did this script not make it through any revisions? Did they film, like a rough draft? It's just fucking, it's abominable. It's really unforgivable how bad the script is. So whatever. Edward takes her on his back, like they're fucking playing chicken or some shit, and runs off up to the mountain, and it's some of the worst CGI you're ever gonna see. I've seen better CGI from sci-fi original movies than this movie. And this movie had like a crazy budget. We'll talk about that in a second. But so then they have this awkward scene with the little sparkly lights, the sunlight, and whatever. So they stay gone all day. And they come back and apparently they're in love. It's literally like at this point, halfway in the movie, you're just going to accept that they're in love. It's like with the friends. Meyer doesn't, like with her best friends, with Bella's best friend. Meyer doesn't want to take the time to set up or build up a relationship between Bella and Edward, because that would take time, and you'd actually have to be a good writer to write a realistic relationship. She doesn't waste any time doing that. No. Why be realistic? So it's literally after this point they're just in love. Oh, and fuck me, I forgot. Edward can just read minds. Before you even find out he's a vampire, you're just supposed to believe that he can read minds. Yeah, I can read minds. That guy, he likes cats. Fuck you, Edward. We don't give a damn about your